Welcome to Show Chic Shop Talk, Learning with the Stars. Today on Shop Talk, dressage icons Betsy Steiner and Kathy Connolly.
We have two very special guests tonight, Kathy Connolly and Betsy Steiner. Woo-hoo! The power of driving, everyone can do it. Yay. Just what I need.
Well, thank you very much. We're very happy to be here, and we appreciate being invited by Michelle and Doug, and it's so nice of you all to come and be here with us, and it'll be fun to hear your ideas on everything too. I think positive people come to positive things. Lots of times people who aren't as positive should come too, but
Positively not.
Positively not. Anyway, I was going to say, actually years ago when we competed for the U.S. team, they would have sports psychologists. And we always went and thought, okay, we need this. And then lots of times you look around, and not to sound judgmental, but some of the people that maybe also needed it, not more than us, but also needed it, were visible at that time. So anyway, thank you all. What we're going to do is just speak a little back and forth. And we are doing the adult clinic series in the United States, I think for USTF, and we're honored to be asked to do that. Yeah, some people think it's the adult amateur series, but it's not. It's all adults, whether someone's adult or amateur or immature. Everyone's invited, and we're looking forward to it. We are doing 4 regions this year and 5 next year. I have been so fortunate to have this person as my dear, 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 dear friend. Through thick and thin, not because we ever had arguments, we never have, but all through, and this sport is an easy sport, you all know that. We both competed for the team, that's always easy to try out, ride for the team, but through all things, we have stayed together as close friends, and I'm very grateful to Betsy and to be able to do this clinic series together.
I have to say the same thing. Like, I really admire and respect Kathy and her training.
So we're going to talk about our ideas on positive training and riding, and a few things, we're just going to go back and forth, but a few things I think of is that, you know, when you see a plane take off, it's called a positive altitude that they have, which means in parallel to the earth, to the line of the earth. And I always think when riding doesn't start when you get on your horse. It starts in the stall. People who don't love horses are not good riders usually. And I always think, I like to train people, as Betsy does, who really love their horses, because we love horses, we love people. And that's a very important component. Of course, a lot of the personality that's drawn to this sport are people who are many times perfectionists. There's nothing wrong with that, except to remember that 10 is excellent, not perfect. And that, and you, the rider, are the leader, and it's important to maintain a positive attitude. And it starts whenever whenever you are in contact with your horse. I always think all's well that starts well. I know the saying goes another way, but all's well that starts well, because then you, as the leader, have a place to lead and take your horse in things that we're going to talk about, and what we think the language of the horse is, and what we think the spiritual, physical, mental, emotional aspects of training and riding.
Yeah, I really come from the background, same thing too as Kathy, mind, body, spirit it's just not the rider, but it's also the horse. You know, for the mind segment, so if we just talk about the rider first, the rider has to, in the mind, that's the knowledge. That's knowing what a shoulder is. That's knowing how to put the horse on the bit, that type of thing. So that would be the mind aspect there. For the horse, it's having knowledge how to do a movement, because how can you expect a horse to do something when the horse hasn't had the experience? So the horse has to also gain knowledge. Then there's the body part, and that's the fitness of the rider and the body awareness. And I'm really, really a huge, huge advocate of that. And it's every body type needs to have a fitness, a certain standard of fitness and awareness. So you know where your body is in the saddle. The horse also has to have that feeling. He's got to know where his body is. He has to have body awareness. So I think that's very, very important. And then the element, so you could say, okay, so if he knows what he's doing and he's in charge, and the same thing with the rider, you think, okay, well, that's good. But then there's the whole spiritual, emotional part of it. And it's your compassion to the horse. I mean, anybody that watches Laura Graves come into the ring with her horse knows she loves that horse. And that horse loves her back. And there's like big hearts going around. She gets 80%. Yes, it should be. But that's the feeling that between the horse and the rider. And there's nothing in the world that can replace that.
It's a mental, emotional, spiritual partnership that we create with our horses when we get on them. I once had the experience of, you know the feeling you get when you see your horse. You know that your horse, oftentimes you'll drive to your barn and the horse knows the motor of your car and nickers because you're coming. That's a beautiful thing. I had the misfortune so long ago to see a horse at a horse show who was like this and running backwards with the groom, and it was a trainer walking toward the horse. Oh. And it was a really sad thing to see, and just I haven't seen that since. I'm glad. But I want to say that because I believe that we are here to be shepherds for these creatures while they're on this earth, and I think that patience, we say, is a virtue, but I think patience is a chosen attitude. It's a matter of adjusting our inner tempo. I don't think it's just a virtue. I think when we get on, when something starts not to go right, we make the choice for patience, whether you take 3 breaths or whatever you do, but you make that choice. I have to say for myself, I have never felt good in my life being impatient doing anything, whether it was talking to somebody, certainly to do with the horse, or anything. I'm not asking anyone to raise your hand, but have any of you ever felt good after you've been impatient at some time? Not even in traffic. There's no good vibe that goes with that. And I believe that we, inside of ourselves, and the horses for sure, have a dial that we can help adjust. We can dial ourselves down or up. We both coach a lot of people and trained a lot of people, and we've done this with ourselves competing. Some people are type A's, and they'll be riding horses that are type A's. Some people are type A's and the horses are type B. And that's something that resonates pretty quickly when you're a coach or trainer. You can see what that is, and you can help. Well, it's good to discuss it with the rider, especially if someone's riding with you a long time, and you're going to be joining together in competition circumstances. And you can learn to help them dial up or dial down according to what needs to be done. And there are lots of techniques for that. You have to feel good about yourself and positive about yourself, because the way a horse learns is by feeling good about himself. If he's good at something, he wants to do it. Same as you from a child. If you were told you were good at something, then you wanted to do it. And what's important is to remember every month in your calendar, remember how much better a rider you are than you were the month before.
I think that's such an important thing in the training, and having someone train you, that you notice how that feeling goes together. Because if you watch a horse work as a trainer, if I watch a horse work, they're focused and they're trying really hard. if you say to the rider, give on the rein and pat him on the neck, you can see this softness and this letting go. And I think you get much further ahead. It's not that you're just nice, nice, nice all the time. You don't make the rear end go and everything else. But that second that he's good, if you give a release and you pat him and you tell him he's good, they continue to improve. They continue to get more involved, more focused, and they're much more serious about their work and enjoy coming back out for it. It's very interesting. I served on the Athletes Advisory Council to the Olympic Committee, which was a fantastic experience because they took one athlete from every Olympic sport, and we would meet, and they'd have all these different lectures and training techniques and different things to do. And there was one speaker that we had who came in, and he was so dynamic and so wonderful in talking to all of us about balance and saying for athletes, every athlete, there's balance. And as a trainer, you have to understand the balance in that, in your training together with this individual. And he said some people like to ride, or not even ride as an athlete, at a hobby level. And so you need to adjust to that person. You don't make them try to be the Olympic rider. You adjust to that person. You see what their goals are, what they want to do, how they want to attain those goals, and the time they have for it. Then you go to the regional level, and the regional level is a little bit more, okay, so now they're balancing a little bit family life with the competition. But it's still pretty balanced, and you know, the regional is not highly intense. Then it comes to national. It's a little bit more balanced, and he would have a teeter-totter. So now they're balancing life and their horses, and so it's more like this. Then it comes to international. Boop, here goes the personal life and the international life and the focus and the concentration. And then he said, boom, here we come to the Olympics. And then he said it's totally off balance for that. And he said you have to understand all those mentalities and understand who you're teaching at what time and be able to adjust to that so that you can train well. Your standard is always here. It's always at the highest standard for every rider. But I think that's what we really want to bring into these series, is that positive attitude and that understanding where each individual rider is, what their goals are, and how we can help to attain those goals.
And I think it's important in approaching horses that we know that what we need to train in a horse is already in there. They come with an innate talent, an innate ability for certain things. Certainly some horses have more talent, let's say for pied passage than on others, but we have to learn how to bring out each horse's talent while keeping intact the individuality of that horse and of his soul, or we will not have the desire of that horse to do it the next day, which is where we're going.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like the like with these clinics, it's the, sort of giving the idea that all of this stuff is possible. It's not something that is like pie in the sky or that's not attainable. But I think it has to be presented, and it has to be discussed at levels for each rider, where every individual is, and then take it from that level and then show the next step and show how to move forward and be able to adjust to each person. So I think I'm really looking forward to that part and seeing who's coming to the clinics and what we're going to do and how we'll set up different things for that individual from every level. So I think that's going to be our job.
It's our job. And we hope to see some of you there or your friends. And
Thank you for watching. Join us again for our next episode of Shop Talk.